Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We're gonna start from verse 45. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ اتَّقُوا مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَمَا خَلْفَكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. وَإِذَا واو حرف عطف, particle for connecting. That means is connecting the same topic from the previous verses. Iza is zarfu zaman. On page 15, let's see. So zarfu zaman, here we have zarfu zaman wal makan, adverb of time and place. So you see here some zuruf. Iza is when. So iza is when. Kila is the verb is kala yakulu in the active form in the active form of the verb, form 1, 3 root letters, and in the passive form kala changes to kila, yakulu changes to yukalu. So kila is the passive form of the verb kala. So kila is fe'lu madin majhul means passive form. And I have on page 30 the passive form. So the passive verb is changed from fa'ala or fa'ila or faula. You know that in the form 1 verbs, which are just the 3 root letter ones, it could be like fa'ala, like this with the middle letter with the fatha, or fa'ila with the middle letter middle root letter with the kasra, and faula with the middle root letter dhamma. It changes to fuila. In the passive voice of the verb, the doer, the file of the verb is not specified, and the object, which is maf'ul, takes the haraka of the file, which is dhamma. And you know that the file has a dhamma on it, maf'ul has a fatha on it, but in the passive verb, there is no file, and the maf'ul changes to takes the haraka of file, and that is why it's called naibul file. So when you see a passive verb, you don't look for the file, you look for the naibul file. Okay. So Kila said. So after Iza, the verb is in the past tense, but is translated is in the present tense. So when you say said, that means when it is said. Lahum jarun wa majrurun. Hum is mirun muttasilun, isam majrur. Lam is harf of jar. To them. Ittaku. So ittaku coming from the verb is ittaka yattaki, form 8. Actually ittaka is actually ibtaka, and yattaka is actually yabtaki. So let's see how form 8 verbs they are formed on page 44. So form 8 on the pattern of ifta'ala with the 3 root letters. Fa'ala, you add alif in the beginning and ta after the first radical. So this verb is formed by prefixing letter alif and adding letter ta after the first radical of the root form. So it becomes ifta'ala. So this is how this verb will look like. Ifta'ala yaftailu, madi madare, past present. In amr, iftail, masdar is iftialun, file is muftailun, maful mufta'alun, and for majhul, the madi majhul, in the past passive, this ifta'ala changes to uftuila, and yaftailu changes to yuftalu. So the verb we are looking into is ittaka yattaki. So it's actually iftaka yavtaki. And you see alif is added. So 3 root letters va, ka, ya, and alif is added in the beginning and ta after the first radical vav. And so it becomes uh, in the rare cases, this wow is connected to ta is actually uh, is uh, is assimilated with ta, so it becomes double ta. So ittaka, when you see ittaka, is the ta and ta doubling the ta, so wow just is assimilates with the ta and converts into ta. So ittaka yattaki is probably this way is easy to pronounce. So but ittaka is actually ittaka and yattaki is actually yavtaki. Amar is ittaki, masdar ittikaun, muttaqin, fa'il muttaqan, and ittaka changes to uttuki in the majhul past tense, and yattaki changes to yuttaka in the present tense. So remember that ittaki is the amar form of yattaki, because amar comes from the present tense. And okay, let's go back to the verse. So ittaki changes to ittaku. So the amar, only you can give amar, the command. Amar is command verb. You can give a command to the second person only. You can give command to the third person who is not there, or the first person, you mean yourself. So the third person pronouns are anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna. So for anta is ittaki, antuma is ittika, antum ittiku. So sorry, ittaki, ittaka, ittaku. So you see here ittaku. So ittaku is for antum, you all. Failu amrin wa failuhu antum. Let me show you the table for ittaka yattaki on page 184. So I have just showed you with wow, just for your understanding, is actually ittaka yattaki. So huwa yattaki, humma yattakiyani, hum yattakuna, hiya tattaki, humma tattakiyani, hunna yattakina, anta tattaki, antuma tattakiyani, antum tattakuna, anti tattakina, antuma tattakiyani, antunna tattakina, ana attaki, nahnu nattaki. And you see here in the command verbs, noun is removed, and so for antum it changes to ittaku. Okay, so going back to the verse, ittaku, beware. So you see it, the kila was came before. It is said what? So what, the what is the maf'ul, right? It is said what, maf'ul. So it is said to beware. So beware is maf'ul, but in the case of the passive tense, this becomes naibul file. So I have written here wal jumla, this jumla beware becomes naib file for kila fi mahalli rafin. So we don't see the rafa sign, but so when you don't see that, then we say that fi mahalli rafin, in place of rafa. So this is in place of rafa because naib file has to be rafa. Ma is ism mawsul, the bimana allazi, so means allazi. Ism mawsul, allazi, allazani, allazina. On page 9 you can see. So allazi is maf'ul bihi. Beware of who? The one. The one that is coming next. Baina, between. Aidikum. So baina is also zarfu makan, because it's denoting the place. Mansub, and is mansub. Zuruf for mansub, and is mansub. So on page 15 you can see the zuruf. I've just shown you the table. So aidikum, Aidi is actually coming from yadun is hand, yadani 2 hands, aidi hands. So baina aidi is actually zarf mudaf alayhi. On page 15 you can go through that. So is zarf and mudaf alayhi, this is the combination. And mudaf alayhi, you know that mudaf alayhi for an ism to be mudaf alayhi, it has to be jar, and jar comes only 2 cases, if is ism majroor or if it is mudaf alayhi. So when there is no ism majroor, it has to be mudaf alayhi or zarf mudaf alayhi. So is majroor bil kasratil muqaddarati, means there is a kasra but is not seen because it's the weak letter. So when you don't see it, you call it bil kasratil muqaddara, I mean estimated kasra, there is an estimation there. And then so baina aidi is zarf mudaf alayhi, and then aida also then becomes mudaf. For kum becomes zamir mutasilun mudaf alayhi. So between the hands of your, or your hands, between your hands. So hands here is I think comes as a idiom here. So means between your hand, mean in front of you, is referring to hereafter. So ittaku, beware of the what is in front of you, what is in your hands, means the hereafter, because hereafter is in front. And what is behind, and ma, and again waw harfu atfin, same thing. Wa ma is ism masul, same like we have. Same like here, ism masul. Wama khalfakum, so khalfa is again zarfu makan, just like baina. And mansub, and you see the mansub sign, the fatah sign there, khalfa. And then kum is mudaf alayhi, behind you, means history of the destroyed nations. So in other words, ittaku, beware of what is coming ahead of you, means hereafter, and what is left behind, the history of the destroyed nations. I mean, take lesson from the history of the destroyed nations, and then beware of your future. La'allakum, la'alla is the sister of inna, min ikhwatu inna, and is harfun nasbin. Bakum zamirun muttasilun is ismu la'alla. So ismu la'alla has to be mansub, but kum let me show you the table for pronouns on page 7. Okay, so these are the pronouns: huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. So you see that they all mabni, means they don't change. Ism, you know, changes to un, an, or in, or u, a, e. But for the case of pronouns, these 14 pronouns, they won't change. They will stay the same, and that is why they called mabni. And this huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, antuma, antum, antuma, anta, antuma, antum, anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu, those come as detached. Munfasilun, and attached is who or he, huma or hima, whom or him, ha or huma, hima, same, huma, hunna or hinna. For anta is ka, antuma, kuma, antum, kum, antiki, antuma, kuma, antunna, kunna, ana, ya or ni, nahnu, na. So when they attach to any verb or any harf, So they come in these forms that you see in the parenthesis, and also they won't show you unna nin. So in other words, all pronouns are mabni, they don't change. Okay, so going back to the verse. So kum is zamirun muttasilun, like I showed you. Is kum is the zamirun muttasilun is for antum. The detached is antum. Kum is attached. Zamirun muttasilun. Kum, when you see kum, let me go back. When you see kum here, you see this has a sukoon at the end, right? So when that is what I am referring there. So kum zamirun muttasilun mabni, I told you they don't change, so they are mabni ala sukoon. So mabni with the sukoon, it has the sukoon that will stay there. It won't show you u, a, e, or un, an, or in. So but harfu nasab should make the next noun mansoob. But in it, so kum is actually mansoob, but we don't see here. So that is what we call fi mahalli nasbin ismul Allah in place of that is coming in place of nasab. So is actually kum, but is actually has a nasab in it. We can't see it. So is because kum doesn't show those changes, and is ismul Allah. Inna min ikhwatu inna, let's see those things again, page 18. So harufun nasbin, these particles change the ending of the noun from un or u to a. They are called inna and its sister akhwatuha. So we call it inna and her sisters. So inna, anna, kanna, bianna, laita, lakinna, lalla. You see, lalla. When they come, you have to find ismu inna and khabru inna. So and then you also note that I have here a note here. When the nominal sentence starts from inna or any of its sisters, like in this case is la'alla, the mubtada changes to ismu inna. So the mubtada in this case, because harf of nasab will make the ism mansoob. So ismu inna is going to be mansoob with fatha sign, and the khabar becomes khabru inna with the dhamma sign. So I'm going back to the verse. So la'allakum, so kum is zamirun muttasilun, and I told you has a sukoon, so mabni, but ismu inna has to be mansoob, so we will say fi mahalli nasbin. I'm familiarizing you with these terms because I wanna show you some also start using some advanced terms. So is ismul Allah, and I just show you that when inna or its sister, when they come, we won't call it mubtada khabar, we call it ismu inna and khabru inna. Okay, so that is ismu inna. Turhamuna. Turhamuna, it's coming from the verb is rahima yarhamu. 3 letters form one, but if it's in the active case, is gonna be tarhamuna, but is actually turhamuna. You see here, I have the haraka here, turhamuna. So that is coming from the past tense, which is for rahima changes to ruhima, and yarhamu changes to yurhamu. So let me show you how yurhamu changes to turhamuna on page 185. So rahima, For past tense, present tense yarhamu. Huwa yarhamu, huma yarhamani, hum yarhamuna. Hiya tarhamu, huma tarhamani, hunna yarhamna. Anta tarhamu, antuma tarhamani, antum tarhamuna. You see, tarhamuna. So this is the verb form used there, which comes for antum. But is actually not tarhamuna, it's turhamuna. So I have to make it passive, which is ruhima yurhamu. So let's use yurhamu instead of yarhamu. Assume that this is yurhamu. So huwa yurhamu, huma yurhamani, hum yurhamuna. Hiya turhamu, huma turhamani, hunna yurhamna. Is typo here. So is actually yarhamna, but in the past tense, when you change the harka, it's going to be yurhamna. Anta tarhamu, antuma tarhamani, antum. Sorry, in the I don't have the table for the past tense, so I have to just, let's go back again. Yarhamu will change to rahima. Yarhamu changes to ruhima yurhamu. Let me show you that again. So rahima will change to ruhima, yarhamu will change to yurhamu. So I have the table for yarhamu, I have to make it for yurhamu. So let's look at that again. So assume that this is yurhamu. Yurhamu, huwa yurhamu, huma yurhamani, hum yurhamuna, hiya turhamu, huma turhamani, hunna yurhamna. Anta turhamu, antuma turhamani, antum turhamuna. So you see, turhamuna. For the active is going to be tarhamuna, for passive is going to be turhamuna. Okay, I'm going back to the verse. So turhamuna. Turhamuna is what? Fe'lun mudariun. We know that is coming from fe'l mudari. Yurhamu marfu, and is marfu because why is marfu? Because the noun, the presence of noun is making it marfu, because for mansub and majzoom, I remember, I hope you remember that for when the fail mudare changes, fail mudare is not mabni, it has three moods. Is going to be either marfu or mansub or majzoom, and for mansub or majzoom you won't see the noon. So when you see the noon is marfu form. So bisubuti noon, the presence of noon is actually means that is fail mudare marfu lil majhul, and you know that this is the majhul, this is the active form, this is the passive form, wa naib file antum, and you receive mercy. So you is the who gives the mercy is the file is not specified. Who gets the mercy? You all, which is the naib file. So naib file will take the harka of the file, which is dhamma. So we'll call it fi mahalli rafin, and it becomes the khabar for la Allah. So fi mahalli rafin khabar la Allah. So you receive mercy. So simple translation would be وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ, when it is said to them, ittaqu, beware, ma baina aydikum, what is in front of you or in your hand, or what is in the hereafter, wa ma khalfakum, or what is left behind, what is behind you, or in other words the history of the destroyed nations. La'allakum, hopefully you, turhamun, you get the mercy. So if you fear for the hereafter, and if you fear for what is already left behind from the history, then you will get mercy. You all, turhamuna, you all. So, and when it is said to them, beware of what is ahead of you in the hereafter and what is behind you. So in the hereafter is actually should be in the bracket, and what is behind you means history of the destroyed nation. So perhaps you may receive mercy, but they turn away. which comes in the next verse. Number 46. Wama tatihim min ayatin min ayati rabbihim illa kanu anha murizin. So wama, again waw is harfu atfin, ma harfu nafi, tatihim. Tati actually comes from the verb form 1 ata yati. So huwa yati. Let's go to the table. Page 160. So ata yati, huwa yati, huma yatiyani, hum yatuna, hiya tati. So you see, tati is for hiya because is referring to some feminine word. Let's see what is that. Aya, because is referring to the aya. Aya is feminine, and this ta, little ta marbuta, this called closed ta. This little ta is it comes for the feminine words, but not all feminine words has this ta. So min, what is so before min, before we go there, tati him. So tati is, I showed you, huwa yati, hiya tati. So tati is fe'lun mudari'un marfu'un bidammatil muqaddara, and you see when there is a weak letter like ya, you won't see the harka, but so then that is there but is not seen, so is dammatil muqaddara. You see, there is an estimated damma. What is him? Again, him is, we know, is the attached pronoun because it's attached to the verb. So it's a mirun muttasilun and has a sukoon here. You don't, him means meme, there is a sukoon. So and pronouns are mabni, so mabni ala sukoon fi mahalli nasbin. So because it's maf'ul, comes to them, so them is maf'ul, and maf'ul has to be has to have a fatha ending, nasab ending, which for the case of whom or him we don't see because all the maf'ul are mabni, they don't show, they don't change the ending. So and note comes to them. Min ayatin, min is harf of jar, zaid, so min is actually harf of jar, and ayatin is ism majroor. So aya, because min is in Arabic we call it harf of jar zaid, I mean is extra, is comes for the emphasis, otherwise you can have the meaning even without that. So then aya is actually, if you remove min, then there is no need for the in sign, so then it changes to ayatun. Assume there is no min, so it's going to be ayatun. So ayatun is the file for the verb tati, that is why it's tati, because it's feminine. So this is what I have written here. So ayatin is actually ism majroor but is file. Wa alamatu rafihi ad-damma tul muqaddara, again I'm saying is ayatun and is estimated damma. Mana min zuhuriha bi harakati harfu jar zaid, which is prohibited because of this harf of jar, because of min. So I mean, if you assume that there is no min, then it's just simple, it will change to ayatun. Then ayatun is the file for tatihim. So min has come just for emphasis and it changes to tin, but so then when visibly is thin, then we say that is the estimated damma here, because file has to be rafa. So any sign, min ayatin, any sign, min has come again, jar, min is has same min has come again, which is harf of jar, and ayati is actually ayatin, is a majroor, but tin changes to ti because is also gonna be behaving as a mudaf. So mudaf cannot have un or cannot have un and in, so that is why you don't see that in there. and mudaf, you can read that on page 14. So it changes, is min ayatin changes to min ayati. So it's a majroor, and because it's mudaf also. So ayat is actually ism majroor plus mudaf. Rabbi mudaf alay, and you know mudaf alay has to have a jar. The signs of the Lord, and then Rabbi becomes a mudaf also, and whom is zamirun muttasilun mudaf alay. So there are actually two combinations here. So min ayatin jarun wa majrurun, then it becomes mudaf. So the double kasra is changed to single kasra, so then this becomes mudaf. Rabbi mudaf alay, then Rabbi becomes mudaf and him mudaf alay. So you will see that signs of the Lord of yours means signs of your Lord. Not your Lord, their Lord. Rabbihim, their Lord, from the signs of their Lord. For you, it should be antum or kum. So if it's rabbukum, then is your Lord. Is rabbuhum their Lord. Illa harfu istisna on page 50 means except. Kanu is a weak verb. Kana yakunu. Huwa kana, huma kana, hum kanu. Page 159. You see here kana, kana, kanu. So this is the kanu, comes for whom. So kanu fe'lu madin naqisun dhamir fihi. So the dhamir fihi is whom, which is ismu kana. Same like inna. When you see kana, you will have to find ismu kana or khabru kana. So they were or they used to. Anha, from it. So an is harf of jar, ha is attached pronoun, and why is ha, why not who? Because ha is referring to the ayatin, which is a broken plural. So when the broken plural comes, the pronoun changes to singular feminine. So you see, it's singular feminine. So jarun wa majrurun, murizina. So murizina is actually coming from murizun. The verb is araza yurizu, and the file is going to be murizun, the ones who turn away. So how murizun changes to murizina, and let's see on page 4. So let's replace mursalun with murizun, murizan, murizin, murizani, murizaini, murizuna, murizina, murizina. You see, is one of these two things. So is plural and is either nasab or jar. Let's see what is there, why it came as a murizina, why not murizuna, why it had to be nasab or jar. Let's see. Mansub, because it has to be mansub, has to be have, so only the nasab form was to be used, because it's khabru kana. So just like ismu inna, the ismu inna is mansub, khabru inna is marfu, kana is just opposite. So ismu kana is marfu and khabru kana is mansub. So that is why the mansub form is used, And let me go back. I want to show you one more thing. Page 4. So when you see waw here, that means this is the rafa form. When you see ya mursilina, then just think that is nasab or jar form. This is for the plural. So just remember that, because I have made a statement there for ya. So murizina khabru kana mansoob, because khabru kana has to be mansoob. So I should remove this. And alamatu nasbuhu alya. I told you, when you see ya, that is the sign that is the indication that is mansoob. This is the same indication for majroor, but here because the same word for nasab and jar. So when you use that jar, then you say that the sign of ya is indicates that is majroor, but in this case is mansoob because the same word. Liannahu jama muzakkar salam. I showed you the table for jama muzakkar salam, the regular sound plural, the regular plurals. Okay, the ones who turn away. So the simple translation would be wama ta'tihim, and it does not come to them min ayatin, any sign, min ayatin, from the signs, from any one sign from many signs, rabbihim, of their Lord, illa, except, kanu, they used to, anha, from it or from these signs, murizina, avoiders, or the ones who turn away, who don't believe in those signs. There doesn't come any sign from the signs of their Lord except that they used to turn away from it. I mean, there are many signs if they want to believe, but they were just rejecting every sign. Verse number 47, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ أَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ قَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَنُطْعِمُ مَنْ لَوْ يَشَاءُ اللَّهُ أَطْعَمَهُ إِنْ أَنْتُمْ إِلَّا فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. So Iza has come again. I showed you the verse number 45. Zarfu Zama, Waw Harfu Atfin, Kila, same thing in the same verse. Kila, Fe'lu Madin Majhul, same thing. Lahum, same thing. Jarun wa Majrurun. So let me show you the verse 44, verse 45, not 44. Waiza Kila Lahum. So this all the same words. Anfiku. So anfiku is a verb, comes from anfaka yunfiku. This is the form 4, page 40. So form 4 looks like this. Afala. So you see this verb is made by prefixing hamza with the fatha sign to the root form fa'ala. If you add hamza before fa'ala, it becomes afala. So this is the, so is actually afala yufilu, amr is afil, masdar is ifalun, fa'il muf'ilun, maf'ul muf'alun, and madi active form changes to ufila in the passive form, and mudare yufilu changes to yufalu in the present form. So we have verb there, at'ama yutimu. You see, same pattern, afala yufilu. The amr is at'im, and masdar is, the noun is it'amun, fa'il is mut'imun, maf'ul is mut'amun, and atama changes to ut'ima, yut'imu changes to yut'amu. So just remember this, at'im is, let me go back. is actually atimu is here, but here is anfiku. I think I don't have the example for anfaka yunfiku. Let me go back again. Let me see if there is anfaka. No. So just apply, let's on afala, anfaka yunfiku, and the amr is going to be anfik. You see here. So I don't have shown this example here because there are many form 4 verbs used in Surah Yasin. I didn't put everyone here. So anfaka yunfiku, anfik. Remember anfik here in this case. Okay, so anfik, you see, anfik is felu amrin, is for anta anfik, antuma anfika, antum anfiku. So this is the anfiku here. You all, you spend, command verb, wa fa'iluhu antum. And same that this jumla, like in the case of 45, this jumla is coming as a naib file for the verb kila. So same thing. Mimma is actually min plus ma, jarun wa majrurun, from what? Ma is like allazi. Razakakum. So razaka, this is another verb. Razaka yarzuku. So razaka is fe'lu madin, wa kum zamirun muttasilun, mabni ala sukun, because all pronouns are mabni. So kum has a, like I mentioned before, kum has a little sukun here. It has a sukun here. You don't see it because Allah, this also is connecting those two words. So fi mahalli razakakum. So razakakum is coming as a maf'ul bihi. So maf'ul has to be mansub, but for the attached pronouns we don't see those endings. So that is why we see it. Then we call it fi mahalli nasbin, maf'ul bihi. So provided you all, Allahu. So Allahu is file, and you see the dhamma here. So Allah provided you. So kum changes to kumullah, just to connect those two letters. Kala yakulu fe'lu madin. Allazina ism mawsul, and allazina is file. Let's see page 9. Ism mawsul, relative pronouns relate to the noun before or after them. So they come to relate, make a relationship with the nouns. So it's allazi, allazani, allazina. So this is the allazina comes for plural, and also just like the pronouns, they also don't change. So you won't see u, a, e here. So it's allazina will always be allazina. So call allazina in this case is file. File is rafa, but allazina won't show you that rafa sign because they don't change. So allazina ism mawsul mabni al fata, has a fata, but so file is, then we call it fi mahalli rafin, in rafa is in place, so fata comes in place of rafa. Because they don't change. So and that is file. Who said this allazina kafaru, the disbelievers. So kafaru coming from kafara yakfuru. Kafaru fe'lu madin wa fa'iluhu fihi damir fihi hum. Let me show you the table for kafara. So kafara, huwa kafara, past tense, huwa yakfuru, present tense. Huwa kafara, huma kafara, hum kafaru. So this is the word used, kafaru. It comes for hum. Okay, qala allazina kafaru. So kafaru fi'l madin wa fa'iluhu hum. Lillazina, lam is harf of jar, allazina ism mawsul, again that allazina. So lam, this allazina is coming at ism majroor, but again allazina is mabni, you don't see it, like you see lillazina is gonna stay with the fatha because that is it is real form that doesn't change. So the lam will not make any change here because this is mabni, otherwise is ism majroor. So then if in that case we say it fi mahalli jar, ism majroor. Amanu, amana, this verb has come before. Amana yuminu, from amana, huwa amana, huma amana, hum amanu, page 121. So huwa amana, huwa past tense, present tense, huwa yuminu, amana, huwa amana, huma amana, hum amanu. So amanu is form 4 verb. Is this, when you see this a, it means there are two a's, one alif and then hamza, and then so and is on page 40. Let me show you again. Like this, is like this. Amana is not 3 letters, there is an addition of hamza before that 3 letters, so it's amana, is 2 alifs, is when that, then you have to make alif bit longer. Amana, amana yuminu. Okay, going back to the verse. Amanu, they believed. Fa'ilu madin, fa'ilu hum. Anut'imu, this is what I was showing you before, same again form 4 verb. At'ama yut'imu. So yut'imu, let me show you this on again page 40, form 4. You see afala yufilu, same pattern. I have this at'ama yut'imu, same pattern. Afala yufilu, at'ama yut'imu. I gave you the explanation of atama yut'imu before, so I'm just not going in detail again. Going back to the verse, nut'imu. So how yut'imu changes to nut'imu. I hope you remember that, but when you see noun, that means that is for nahnu. But let's look at the table on page 189. So at'ama yut'imu, huwa yut'imu, huma yut'imani, hum yut'imuna, hiya tut'imu, huma tut'imani, hunna yut'imna, anta tut'imu, antuma tut'imani, antum tut'imuna, anti tut'imina, antuma tut'imani, antunna tut'imna, ana ut'imu, nahnu nut'imu. So this is ut'imu, nahnu nut'imu. So this is nut'imu, this is the one used there. So anut'imu, what is a? Is al hamzatu istifham, the particle for questioning. So there is a question here. Anut'imu, anut'imu, shall we eat? Shall we feed? Atama yutimi, to feed. Man is ism mawsul bimani allazi, the one who, and is coming as maf'ul bihi. Shall we feed the one who. So man, you see man, there is a sukoon here. Man is a sukoon, but maf'ul should have a nasab. So then again, man does not show the ending, doesn't change the ending, so we will call it fi mahalli nasbin, maf'ul bihi. Law harfu shartin ghairu jazmin, page 49. Let's go to, means this is the conditional statement, page 49. Conditional sentence consists of two parts: the condition, fe'lu shart, and jawabu shart. So there are actually three parts. One is the particle for condition, and then the fe'lu shart, the condition, and then the jawabu shart, the answer to the condition. And those are particle here. Law, some particles when they use, they make both the conditions, fe'lu shart and jawabu shart majzoom, but law is not one of them. And in some time both have the verbs in majzoom form. So not all the, in all cases. So law is not, will not make it majzoom. So that is why I mentioned here ghairu jazmin, it won't make a majzoom. Sha yashau, yashau, sha yashau, you see yashau is not majzoom because majzoom form is yasha with the sukoon jazm sign here. So sha yashau, form 1, 3 letters, fe'lun mudarin marfoon, and alamatu rafihi ad-damma. So this dhamma is indicates that is because fail mudare, when it comes you have to mention whether it is marfu, mansoob or majzoom, and marfu form will have a dhamma sign, mansoob form will have fatha sign at the end, and majzoom form will have a sukoon at the end. So this is marfu form. Allahu, again Allah, lafzul jalala, file. The word Allah we also call lafzul jalala litazim, for respect. So his file, and his file is marfu. So this you see the marfu. So you see that who there, that means after the verb an ism has a with dhamma sign, means is file. File for this verb, if Allah wills. At'amahu, at'amahu. So at'ama has come again, same verb, that is at'ama yutimu. So at'ama yutimu, I just showed the table. So at'ama is fe'lu madin, or fa'iluhu is huwa, is because it's for huwa at'ama. And who is actually the maf'ul of the verb. Again, who is attached pronoun, and all pronouns are mabni. So then we have to call it fi mahalli nasbin, maf'ul bihi. You've seen sometime I write it, sometime I just decided to mention it more frequently this time, because so just you remember that. So is maf'ul bihi, he fed him, who him means the man who is referring to here. In is harf nafi. Antum is damirun munfasilun, is not attached to anyone, is mubtada. And zalalin, so it should be khabar antum, I have not mentioned here. So when you see mubtada, there should be a khabar also. So that is zalalin is khabar, but before that is illa again came before harfu istasna, mean except. Fi is harf of jar. So zilalin ism majroor. You see is majroor here. Zilalin, fi zilalin, jarun wa majroorun. And mubinin is naat for zilalin. Mean quality of zilal on page 12. You can go to the detail and simply it follows. If it's singular, singular. If it's masculine, masculine, or feminine, or feminine. If it's with al, with naat will have al. So these the four qualities. If is in, then is in. Status, whatever the status is going to have the same. So mubin, the naat follows the manut in its all four areas. If it's this plural, then the naat going to be plural. In this case is singular, the naat is singular. In this case is masculine, the naat is masculine. It doesn't have, is a common noun, no al, so this is also common, and is within, so mubin is also within. So fi zilalin mubinin. So this is naat manut combination. So let's do a simple translation here. Wa iza qila lahum, when it is said to them, anfiku, spend, mimma, from what, razaqakumullahu, Allah has provided you the provision. Spend from what Allah has provided you. Whatever we have is all provided by Him. So when He asking us to spend, we are not spending from anything from of ours, but we just spending from whatever He has provided us. Spend whatever Allah has provided you. Qala allazina kafaru. So then the disbelievers, they said, lillazina amanu, to the believers, anut'imu, shall we feed, man, who, lo yasha Allahu, had Allah wished, at'amahu, He would have fed him. So their excuse was, why should we feed him or them? Because if Allah wanted, He would have fed them. So then they said, in antum, you are nothing, illa, but, or except, fi zalalin mubinin, in clear error. I mean, you are in clear error, you don't understand. So this is what I have here. And when it is said to them, donate from what Allah has provided you, the disbelievers said to the believers, shall we feed someone whom Allah would have fed if He willed? You are in clear astray or clear error. So that completes verse number 47. So we're gonna start from verse number 48. This should be 48 next time.